How many of the ideas you carry as truths were truly born within you, and how many were inherited from an invisible crowd? We live in a society where thinking for yourself takes rare courage. It's easier to seek shelter in the warmth of the herd than to face the solitude of walking your own path. But that ease comes with a cost. This instinct to merge with the group may feel like safety, but behind that feeling lies a quiet loss. The loss of authenticity, of freedom, and even of compassion. On the surface, we follow the common rhythm, as if it were natural to stay in tune with others. Yet, in silence, many feel a deep unease. Is this life truly mine, or just a well-rehearsed copy? This discomfort is no small thing. It visits us in conversations where we disagree but stay quiet, in choices that don't seem to belong to us, in moments when reason bows down just to avoid conflict. It's like living in a room full of voices, but never hearing your own. If you've ever felt this unease, this is a call to look beyond the comfort of the herd and realize that perhaps the solitude of authenticity is more fertile than the safety of conformity. This dilemma isn't new. For as long as we've existed, the majority has chosen repetition over thought. The philosopher Arthur Schopenhauer put it clearly: most people don't think for themselves, they just repeat. The collective mind, the so-called herd spirit, is fueled by the fear of standing out. Being different threatens acceptance. And out of fear of exclusion, we sacrifice reason. Psychology later confirmed this intuition. In Solomon Asch's experiments, people denied what was obvious to their own eyes just to agree with the majority. The desire to belong was stronger than the clarity of perception. But this obedience has a price. Individual reason weakens, and little by little, we stop being the authors of our own ideas. Like leaves carried away by a current, we go on believing we are thinking, when in fact, we're only echoing the collective chorus. The inevitable question arises: how many of the choices we call ours were actually born inside us? That question takes us deeper. What truly drives our desires? Schopenhauer called it the will, an irrational force pushing us into endless craving and the tendency to imitate others. This will create the illusion of freedom, when in reality we're pulled along by invisible chains. Centuries later, René Girard described this as mimetic desire. We don't want things for themselves, but because others want them. This is how society turns trends into truths, fashions into identity, illusions into necessities. This mechanism explains why so many wonder if they've ever had a truly original thought. Most people live inside an invisible theater, reciting lines they never wrote, without realizing the stage was set long before. Spirituality invites us to break that cycle. Only when we recognize that our desires may be nothing but echoes do we catch a glimpse of a deeper freedom, one that comes from consciousness, not imitation. But opening our eyes to this illusion doesn't come without cost. Along with clarity comes the silent pain of conformity. This discomfort takes shape as emptiness, as disconnection from oneself. It's like looking into a mirror and seeing familiar features, yet not recognizing the soul reflected there. There's a quiet unease that haunts those who feel the weight of conformity. It shows up as a sense of emptiness, of being cut off from oneself, like looking in the mirror and seeing a familiar face, but not the soul behind it. Many live with this contradiction. On the outside, they fit into the herd. On the inside, they feel the unease of someone betraying their own essence. Then comes the exhaustion, the constant doubt, the anguish of not knowing if they are authentic or just a collective shadow. Others experience the opposite. They simply can't adapt to the group. They're the ones the herd spits out or ignores. And though it hurts, it also opens a space for freedom, the chance to watch from a distance and question the herd's movements with clarity. These pains are real. They don't need to be denied. They are signs that the soul is crying out for truth. And it's precisely in that cry that solitude appears, not as punishment, but as teacher. "Why do you stay in prison when the door is wide open?" asked the poet Rumi. "The prison is conformity. The open door is the freedom of being yourself. The challenge is having the courage to walk through it, knowing that few may follow." Spirituality teaches us that solitude is not absence, but a broader presence. It is in that inner silence that individuality blooms. Just as the seed can only sprout in the darkness of the soil, our truth is born in quiet retreat. Accepting to be the black sheep is, many times, the only way to save one's own soul. And this takes courage, the courage to lose applause in order not to lose yourself. But if solitude reveals authenticity, it's in our relationship with others that morality is tested. Schopenhauer saw compassion as the root of authentic morality, not social approval. Collective morality, on the other hand, is often nothing more than disguised conformity. Stanley Milgram's experiments showed how ordinary people, following orders from authority, were willing to inflict pain on others. Not because they were cruel by nature, but because they hid behind the collective chorus, "Everyone does it, so I will too." This is the dangerous face of the herd spirit. When we stop thinking and feeling for ourselves, we become capable of legitimizing violence, exclusion, and dehumanization. Spirituality, however, calls us to another place, to a silent compassion that needs no validation from the crowd, a morality born from an awakened heart, not from external approval. And when we discover that silent compassion, a new space opens up, the space of true freedom. This freedom is not about doing whatever you want, but about discerning whether a desire comes from your soul or from imitation. It's the courage to think, feel, and act in line with your own conscience, even if it costs you solitude. Spiritual awakening is this passage, leaving the collective illusion behind to rediscover inner presence. It means trading the comfort of conformity for the honesty of solitude. It isn't easy. It demands courage, deep listening, and acceptance of the fertile emptiness that comes before the creation of an authentic life. In the end, the question is simple yet radical. Do you prefer the safety of echoing or the solitude of being? Next time you're in the middle of a group, notice in silence whether what you think, feel, or want in that moment is truly yours, or just a reflection of the crowd. Take a deep breath. Listen. And if you find a dissonance, choose your own truth, even if quietly. Remember, inner silence is the home of authenticity. It's where the voice is born that doesn't echo, but creates. Presence begins when we dare to listen beyond the noise of the crowd. It's in that space that spiritual truth blossoms, the kind that doesn't imitate, but creates. And what if the inner silence you fear today is, in fact, the most authentic voice of your soul? If something inside you was stirred by these words, allow yourself to continue this journey of self-knowledge and spiritual awakening. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we can keep walking together on this path of personal growth and inner freedom. Share in the comments how you've experienced the tension between herd and authenticity. Your story might be the mirror another soul needs to see. And if you want to keep expanding, we suggest the next video in the card above, chosen with care for you. May it be another open door on this journey. Peace and light.